It's distasteful to actually try to cancel somebody by hoping that somebody does self-harm. And what also is, a good marketing issue is when you take a moral stand against actions that your friends do for the right reason, not just to get clout. What's up, people? It's me, Crimson60620, and we're here for another video. And this is a video where I didn't want to address this because I just think what's going on around the whole situation is just distasteful. First, the perpetrator's actions, and then the people who are trying to expose this perpetrator. But this is something where I think a lot of us who aren't terminally online actually addresses a lot of these problems. So we're going to talk about Alba's response to the Destiny cancellation. Let's go. So let's get into the video. Of course, we saw how Destiny just whole life blew up in front of him. He's getting sued and all this other good shit. But a lot of people just they jumped on the Destiny hate train, and I don't want to cover the allegations, not because I don't think they're bad. Of course they're bad. I want to tell you guys something. First of all, you never record somebody without their permission. Secondly, when somebody sends you nudes, they didn't. I'm going to have to repeat that for the people in the back. If somebody ever sent you nudes, no, they didn't. And people need to understand that getting nudes is a privilege. It's a privilege. And if somebody sending you nudes, or if they made videos with you, they didn't. So let's get to the video and see Alba's response for what's going on. And I did watch it, but I wanted to rewatch it and actually go over it with you guys so you can actually see what's going on with it. So let's get this going, and yeah, let's go.
You guys can see the title. I stand behind it. It's not bait. It's not a joke. Destiny's getting canceled, all right? And the reason being this time is that he supposedly had an intimate relationship with some women, and what he would do is when he would film intimate moments with these ladies, record them, he would share some of these with other women he was approaching. In one case, he shared it with a 19-year-old e-girl who he had never met in his life, and he was flirting with her and shared videos of himself sleeping with another person without their...
So I've said this before, and just what outside of the taping somebody without their permission, because that's just disgusting. The sharing people's video, there is quite a number of websites that you can actually just put yourself on as part of your profile page to actually date, and you can do that. You get the person's original permission and like, hey, I'm talking to somebody new. This is my profile pic. If you know about websites like this, of course, you know how to handle yourself. The problem is, motherfucking Destiny he's rich, so he thinks that he's above it, and all this other good bullshit. And just sharing it without somebody's permission is wrong. And you can make the argument about if it's malicious or not. I personally don't believe it's malicious. But again, motherfuckers get, hemmed up legally or sued for non-malicious shit all the time. So, but the extra step of recording somebody without their permission, no, that's just disgusting. Now, is it... I've seen people say the whole thing about, oh, he's a predator. No, he's a deviant. And the thing is weird. For people that do have sex, because a lot of these motherfuckers don't have personal relationships. They don't have sex. Would you want your shit leaked? So the whole not coming out with it and when not wanting it spread out is a little bit justifiable, but no, like for real, like I just think the whole thing is just distasteful to actually, because a lot of these people that's reporting on it, they're doing it for the clout and doing it for Destiny's downfall. They don't care about the victims. They don't care about who's hurting. They giving some half-assed apologies or, oh, well, this is bad because, like, no, you just worry about downfalls and clout. And that's the distasteful part of it. If it was real discussions, if it was a real conversation, other than, oh, yeah, Destiny needs, or Destiny needs to go down. He needs to, like, no. Yeah. But that's, I'm on my soapbox. Let's go.
Their consent. Essentially, the 19-year-old gets hacked, and that stuff goes public. The person who was in the videos finds out, loses their mind, files a lawsuit asking Destiny for a huge sum of money. And then, it comes out thereafter that Destiny apparently had also recorded a lot of other women while they were in his apartments without their consent. So this has kind of gotten bigger and bigger since. We're back. Me specifically. Where's Preach? Preach busy, you know what I mean? Out there doing gay shit with his wife. Me,
And I know some people will take that the wrong way, but yeah, no, this is like Preach shouldn't be involved with this.
I'm here for you guys right now. I was up in Africa. Now, if you think I'm gonna take my time away from my people so I can go spend time on the internet to talk about white-on-white violence, you are bugging. And if you guys are wondering where Preach is,
so like again, you can tell the people that aren't permanently online, and this is one of the things that I don't want to have to do to actually be a YouTube, like make living off of YouTube. Yeah, I can stream, I can get in and hang out with people, but like this terminally online shit where you can just take breaks and just chill and enjoy yourself without having to do this terminal online shit. Kudos to them who literally was going up against daily streamers and still managed to lap them and not be even in competition with daily streamers that sell you outrage or sell you motherfucking just like get mad and pay me money type shit. Kudos on them that they can take vacations and be chill.
Aside from doing gay shit with his wife, we both agreed that there's only one woman that each of us are going to defend in our lives. For him, it's his wife. For me, it's a streamer named Destiny, and we got to do our job. So this is my responsibility. I'm gonna handle her. Now, so you guys know.
Okay, yeah, that the joke is fine. Yeah.
Destiny is a friend of mine, okay? And you might be confused why I decided to come out dripped out from my friend's cancellation. You know what I'm saying? Looking kind of fresh. And again, you fucking idiots! This is a fairly serious matter, and people want to hear my opinions. And I'll be honest with you, for all the bad things that are happening to Destiny, I don't feel bad. The reason why I don't feel bad, and this might surprise some of you because some of you don't know this, me and Destiny have spoken about his dating behavior for a very long time. We've talked about.
So, just down in. Like I said, I've watched part of this. He's actually come out on stream and said, yeah, no, don't do this shit. Like, you got a business to run. And, you can say that, oh, he's just looking out for his business. Like, no, like, for real. One thing that I've been preach, even there are a lot of things I disagree with them on. They take this as a business. They take this serious. And when it comes to, like, a public image, they have their public image that they try to address. And a lot of it is that they were adults when they started doing this shit. And a lot of problems comes from just this arrested development that a lot of these streamers, a lot of these YouTubers have, where they never wanted to grow up from being a teenager. They always think it's their eternal 20s, and god damn, it's reflected in their fans as well. And I can't. I look back at my life, and I've been working since I was 21. This last 6-7 months of me being off of work is the longest I've been off of work. And just to like, just some of the stuff that, like, oh my God, a lot of the Arrested Development that's going on now, it's just sad.
About it on stream, off stream, and I've always been very vocal about the fact that I think he's very fucking dysfunctional with how he handles his dating life, with how he prioritizes pleasure over everything else. And I think the root of a lot of these issues in this whole situation is that he prioritizes his own selfish desires over other people's well-being, over what's good for his business and his career. And now,
so another thing too, you can be poly, you can be mono, you can have sex with all the people that you want, but at some point when it's starting to mess with your job, it's a problem. And I've actually known people when I've worked in the different jobs that I had where they can't keep their dick in their vans, or they can't keep their vaginas closed. You know what I mean? And it's just like, because like they think, oh no, this is gonna be fun. And it's just like, there's an idiom that I don't shit when you sleep. When you gotta live, when you have to make a living, don't do that. Now I get it. When you that big of a streamer, the only people that you're around are other big streamers, and it's rare that, like, look at all the other big streamers where most of them are quote unquote single, or yeah. But when you have this stuff just feeding into your whole identity, and you have so many people that are worshiping you, and like a lot of these people tend to act immature, and it's really bad for their brand. But let's continue.
Now it's costing him more. It cost him already some things in the past, and he's always been very much in denial about how it affects him negatively, and now it's costing him even more. And I'm, to this day, not entirely sure if he's ready to really acknowledge the impact it has on him.
Do you think I'm self-destructive?
Yeah. If you engage in hedonism, I would say you're self-destructive. I say the same thing about Destiny. I think he can be self-destructive, and I don't think you would entirely disagree.
So
I completely disagree. I don't think I'm self-destructive at all.
Oh, hold up. I was actually curious. You don't think that to some degree your hedonism doesn't bite you in the ass?
Nope. I think I have a really good engagement with most of my hobbies. I think I do it pretty well. I think that my mental functioning is very high. I think my career is incredibly successful. There are parts of my life that I can improve, but I think that people look at some of the standard markers for trouble, and they for some reason project a ton of stuff onto me. But I think I'm living like one of the healthiest, fullest lives that I possibly could.
Constantly having poor relationships with women over a long period of time, or in other situations, STDs, different things like that. Eventually that hedonism comes back to bite them in the life, and they also recognize they could have invested that time a lot better.
No, and here's the thing. This is where I disagree. Hedonism isn't a bad thing. It's controlled hedonism. Uncontrolled hedonism is a bad thing. There is no difference if you are hedonistic with, one person or three people. The problem is when you are thinking more with your sexual organs than with, hey, let's keep this separate from, my business. And like, as I always say, don't stick your dick in crazy. Like, that's the main point. And that's the thing that Destiny actually, that's his biggest problem. And that's, obviously there was a problem with the leaks because, one of the people were, lean towards self-harm. And it's just like, why do you mess with crazy women? Like, for real. Why? It's not a thrill when they're slitting your tires, when they're busting out your, like, they busting the windows out your car, and it's like, that's not a fun thing. Oh, it's exciting. No, if you want some excitement, get some rope, a little bit of wax with a low melt temperature, and have some fun. But somebody being crazy, being mentally unstable, that's not fun. I want to wake up and still have my equipment attached to me, like, for real. But let's continue.
So wait, what do you ask us about this? Like, what was your idea of this?
Yeah, it's not like I have like 100 kids and 5 million STDs and like
No, you just constantly. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about it.
Well, you might as well. But no, you drop the accusation. Go for it. You just constantly say it. No, say it.
Is, right?
No, shut up, Melina. Shut up. Let him talk. What do you mean? Constantly anything you do in life that's going to increase like your ability to like have fun or do like crazy stuff or whatever is always going to carry with it like the risk of death, right?
Absolutely.
Like you have no chance of dying by falling out of a plane unless you go skydiving. But that's not an argument. It's never skydiving.
But it is an argument against maybe skydiving 1,000 times if you don't want to die that way.
Well, if you want to skydive 1,000 times, then fucking skydive 1,000 times. Like what's wrong? Damn, what happened to all the self-empowerment shit that you guys were talking about earlier?
I mean, it just depends on whether or not you want that outcome. If you're saying like, oh, I don't want this kind of destructive thing, or I don't want to end up dying by skydiving, then maybe don't skydive every other day.
Yeah, but I'm not complaining about that. You guys are. If you're,
and this is hella defensive. It's hella defensive, but what can you say when somebody is addicted to the excitement? I wouldn't even say the combing, it's the excitement.
If your lifestyle choices are like, damn, I would never want to deal with like a crazy girl or anything like that, that's totally valid. I think it's totally fine. I accept that that's probably true for most people. But like, I'm okay with the trade-off on that for like all the benefits that I get. I like f***ing a lot of people. I like traveling a lot. I like doing drugs. I like my stream shit. That's like super fun for me. To be like, well, doesn't bad stuff happen sometimes so you shouldn't do it? That doesn't compute to me. Like, I feel like I'm living a super amazing life, and I feel like there's a lot of shit that happens all the time. I understand it might be a lot for some people, but it seems weird to be like, oh, well, I think that you're like secretly like hurting or damaged inside because of some negative outcomes. Like,
or others, because
you know what? And what he said was kind of okay. Yes, you don't have to be damaged or broken inside to want to have sex with a lot of people. Some people have a high libido, and the way people shame society. And like the most ridiculous thing that I heard was that somebody said the reason why Destiny has sex so much is because he saw his grandmother lose her mind and kill dogs and pee on the floor, and he's trying to fill his god-sized hole in his heart with vagina, and it's just like, dude, grow the fuck up. but still what goes on in this situation is you don't necessarily have to be broken to like sex a lot. I'm sorry, that's just the thing. And sometimes people can have multiple relationships with people that have, it's not going against some unnatural order. It's a little bit adverse to society, yes, but it's not that people are just like, oh, I'm broken. I'm broken. I need sex to fix me. No. But this dude, he it's the excitement. The orgasm is just bonus, and you can tell. You can tell the way he acts. And like, it's not up to me to yuck anybody's yum. But dude, you letting it get the best of you. Well, let's go.
I think the main thing with this is you have to think about the activity. The activity involves hurting others. Like even Destiny, as good as he is at what he does, probably can admit he's broken a lot of hearts. He's disappointed a lot of women. He's made a lot of people upset. It's not just how he feels about it. When you involve other people in this kind of pursuit of pleasure, other people get hurt as well. I'll stand by what I said at the beginning. I don't feel bad for Steven whatsoever because he knew what he was getting into. He was brazen about it. When he was warned, when he said, hey, this is a bad idea, this is a bad lifestyle, he said, I don't care, I want to have fun. It's fun for me. That's why I like these mentally ill women. That's why I like doing this stuff. That's why I can't keep my dick in my pants. It's because it's fun. Well, I'm like, all right, then. When it fucking inevitably blows up in your face, I'm not going to have no sympathy for you. You can be my friend, my worst enemy. I don't give a fuck. If you engage in behavior repeatedly after you're warned, fuck around and find out, and that's what Steven's doing. But I don't want to make it just sound like a happenstance, a hedonism that, no, some of this stuff is also just morally bad in regards to what he did with recording these women and all this other shit. And if he gets sued for it, he loses money, then it is what it is too.
So this is another thing that I have to say. Like, now, don't get me wrong. Like, again, I'm not going to yuck somebody's yum. But the problem is just the unconsensual recording of somebody. That's just like, that's disgusting, man. That's really, really disgusting. And yes, sharing the consensual videos are also bad as well. Now, I do want to preference this. It's bad, but I didn't think people call, Destiny a serial rapist or something like that. And that's stupid. Those are people who haven't had sex and don't know tragedy and never had somebody that had to deal with real tragedy. I wish people will stop that bull, because like, if you've ever had to console somebody who was actually assaulted, then this little petty shit that people are saying, are like not even petty. It's the internet mob justice, and yeah, I stole that from Lona Box. It's infuriating. So like, yeah, no. So if you think I'm trying to be callous or cavalier about this, no, it's just like I've had to console friends who were actually assaulted, and this it's bad, but I just hate the way some people are just taking this and running with it and trying to do internet mob justice. It's just stupid to me. But let's continue.
You do the crime, you do the time, right? So no, all these people be like, oh, Abba, stick by him, he's your friend. I already told y'all. If my friend goes out and murders a bunch of people, I don't give a fuck, send his ass to jail. And if my friend...
So that is integrity. That's what integrity is. When you friends with somebody and they doing wrong, you told them, hey, stop doing it, it's gonna hurt you, and they get caught again, you was being that friend by saying like, hey, you need to chill out, you need to stop doing that. You were being that friend. That's the thing. That's called being a friend. Well, let's go.
Does some shit like what Steven just did, and he's gonna lose a bunch of money, I'm not gonna cry. All right, I would tell my friends and I would warn them beforehand, hey, don't do that, don't do that. You go and do it, then, hey man, that's your problem, bro. You didn't listen to me. You're not gonna get my sympathy at this point. Nope. My sympathy is for when a tragedy happens, not when the inevitable does. Yeah, what you're hearing from me right now is disappointment and a bit of anger, but I'm angry at myself. What let me say? You know, if there's anything that this situation and that most of the people in these online spaces have taught me, is that these are not serious people. The problems are not serious. The way they engage with relationships is not serious. It's a lot of juvenile bullshit. You know, while I was on vacation.
So, man, for real, I was just speaking about this earlier. A lot of this online stuff is just, it's just so fucking childish. It's childish. We look at this and just like, this is why I think a lot of people, and I would give, you know, Destiny a little bit of credit, the whole canvas and stuff like that. But a lot of these people are just so childish. They're so juvenile. I did the Hassan video. Do you know there are people that think that he's a serious person when it comes to pushing socialism? Do you know that it's just like the Vash video, like all these people, what they are doing is just coming on the internet and making money off of getting you upset. Oh, you're a hater because you're not as big. Oh, like, no, I literally think that a lot of these people are not helpful. I think a lot of these online content creations, they are used as a way of pointing and saying like, oh, this is the left. They are more harmful than they are good. None of these people read the so-called theory that they want you to believe that they do. A lot of these people have just personal interest, and that personal interest is to make money off of streaming to you and getting you mad and watching their streams. How many times do you hear these people just causing so much doomerism? How many at a time do you actually watch these people doing news stories, talking about how things need to change, but actually trying to do things? No, they're selling you outrage. And then the disgusting part is the sycophants in their streams. Oh God, it's disgusting. None of these people, or most of these people, have had real jobs. Most of these people have, the only reason why they have their own place because they selling you this outrage. They've never had to struggle with dealing with actual living in years, dealing with, you know, being poor or struggling in the working class. Some of them outright are just rich kids that had a leg up because mommy and daddy took care of them. But let's continue.
I was just hearing glimmers about this stuff. I was like, yo, turn that shit off. Because I'm asking, if you touch grass and you hear this stuff, you're like, y'all some fucking losers. You realize like this is a story about socially retarded people, mentally ill people, all engaging in sexual behaviors and sexual, and they're not ready for it. You know, but I also have to have some humility and admit that I've tethered myself to that world. I entertain, I dip my toes into it, and you know, having spent some time there, was it a bit entertaining? Sure, but it was entertaining like it was when you go to the zoo and you see a bunch of freak animals do a bunch of circus monkey tricks. And that's it. And now that it's gotten to the point.
So this is something where, yeah, it's entertaining to watch. It's the new reality TV. And I shudder to think, like, where these people would be when they hit 40. Like, would Hassan be doing the same BS when he's 40? Would Vosh still be looking at Lolicon when he's 40? At 35, I was still concerned about, you know, raising my kid and, you know, still trying to struggle day to day. Like this is just garbage. And like a lot of these people, I'm sorry to say, they're scared of hitting 35. They're scared of hitting 35 because this eternal teenager shit is going to get old really quickly.
Point where it's kind of spilling over into real life and you're realizing that these people behind closed doors are doing weird shit. It's time to take a step back and be like, okay, we've had our fun at the zoo. It's closing up. Time to head home. I'm not interested in being part of the act. I'm not interested in being in the enclosure. I'm not interested in befriending any of the other freak animals that they want to bring in. It's just a weird assortment of people. And it's just so different than my real life. Like, why am I wasting time with this? This is not beneficial for my business. This is not beneficial for my personal life. I'm not learning anything about social interaction. So I have nothing to gain by being around this. And despite Destiny being my friend, there's a lot of things that I just don't agree with, that I don't want to be associated with. To keep a long story short, for those of you asking, like, all right, well, Abba, what are you going to do going forward? This is a conversation I had with Steven already. I just told him I wouldn't show up on any of his stuff in the future, and I don't think that's that big of a deal because at the end of the day, he's going to be doing mostly political stuff from now on, so it's probably for the best. But I just don't want to be associated.
So this is how to respond to a situation with your friend that they just did something that you totally can't stand with. At least he talked to him first instead of just like getting the knives out and stabbing him in the back. Like, yo, dude, this is a conversation that we had. This is hurting my business, the way people look at me. And quite frankly, we've had this conversation. This is how you have a conversation as an adult. You don't just be like, well, let me make the video just like to get the clout for it. Like, yo, and this is one of the reasons why, like, this is a video where this is how adults act. But you'll never see this with so many other people. It's just, the arrested development is just strong a lot in these online spaces. But let's go.
Associated with it, and there's a few different reasons, so I'm gonna try to go with it, and I'll kind of just break down everything. But there's a couple things I got to get out the way. One, listen, I might be the only person in this orbit who hasn't fucked one of these women, including Destiny herself. I'm not friends with any of these people. I don't talk to them really offline, so I kind of just keep my distance, and that's generally true for me and most content creators. So you don't see us doing too many collaborations. I don't hang out with these people. This whole idea that I wouldn't.
So, and this is one of the things that kind of gets me, like. I tried to and this videos on my channel where I've worked with other content creators. I know that that's a way of getting big, but in a lot of cases that can come back and bite you in the ass. I would rather actually do my content based on my views, my beliefs, how I react to things. Like, that's what I want to do. And like, I just, some of these people online are just fucked. But I understand the sentiment. Of like, of being, like, yeah, like, I'm going to be in my lane and, yeah, I understand that sentiment.
Criticize Destiny. I think that's also nonsense. If you spend any time watching debates between me and him, we argue, we yell, we get very animated, we disagree strongly. And there's dozens of debates. So this idea that I wouldn't take a stand if I saw something I didn't like, I think people can't understand why I'd be friends with him, or they can't understand why I would agree with anything he says. And so the only thing in their head is like, okay, it must be friendship or whatever. I don't operate that way. If I disagree with you, Preach is my brother, and I disagree with him every day. So if you don't think I'm not going to disagree with Destiny, you bugging, okay? And there's a lot of content creators who, they thought we was cool, and I disagree with something they said, and now they don't want to talk no more. So the idea.
And again, it's a lot of this. Again, this content creators where they want to be praised. They get internet brained, and they get, whoa, I'm in this hug box. I'm in this echo chamber. And it's just sad, man. How dare you criticize me? I thought we were friends. Boo boo, your friends would have a conversation with you and let you know when you're wrong. First it'll be respectful, and then it'll just be dismissive. And then when something bad happens, it's just like, yeah, I kind of told you so. That's how adult friends act. That's how. Like this whole, I'm gonna ride or die with this person on the internet that I barely know, or I've hang out with a couple of times. Dude, no. What did Kendra say? You thought you was my boy because we go way back? I'm disowning my grandma if she don't agree with me. Come on now. Come on. Let's go.
That I wouldn't, disagree with someone to avoid burning a bridge. No, I'll deal with anybody. Because at the end of the day, I think what I actually believe is more important to me than maintaining these kinds of cordial relationships. I don't care about having access to these people. That includes Destiny and anybody else. Actually, one of the craziest parts about this whole story is the fact that Destiny trusted a 19-year-old Discord lady, okay, named Rose is Coming, with sex tapes of other people in his life. Nigga, if that's not compromised judgment, I don't know what the fuck is, okay? I wouldn't trust a Discord member with my first name, and that's just public information. He would...
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. My first name is out there because I'm an artist. I put my name out there. But like, yeah, no, I get that. Like, come on. Man, all right, let's go.
He was giving other people sex tape. But if there's one thing that nobody would ever say about Destiny, is that he makes good personal life dating decisions, okay? There's a couple things that bother me. That's like, and I've said this to Destiny too, like, this dude really has a penchant for going after mentally ill women, okay? Women with like severe depression, or just like these kind of like dainty, smart ass, fucking feeble looking, small white women. Like, that's his type. And a lot of them got like self-diagnosed BPD or some bullshit. Like, he just likes that. I don't know. To me,
don't stick your dick in crazy. Just don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah, no, that is a thing. Do not stick your dick in crazy.
The fact that there's a pattern with a lot of these girls is a bit weird. And when he's asked why he likes bringing on these self-destructive women in his streams and in his life, he says it's because it's fun. It's fun for him to bring on women who are probably going to, at some point negatively impact his life in a huge way. He knows it's going to be short-lived. He doesn't care because it's fun.
And see, this is the whole, this is what I mean. Like, he's addicted to the excitement. He's addicted to the excitement.
That's a moral failing to me, okay? That shows to me that you don't really care about how you affect the other people in your life when these people become atomic bombs who affect everyone in the area. And it tells me that you don't really care that much about your career when you talk, again, who will fuck up things in your area. And this comes down to the thing about like, if everyone consents, it's fine. But it's not. If you know that the people you're going to be involved with are only short-term partners, and you constantly see the after effect of most of your hookups and your interactions leaving a trail of broken hearts and disappointed people, that's a moral failing. Sure, it's not illegal, it's not criminal, but I can still look at that behavior and like, you just spend time dating these women and it's just hurting all of them. You have no intentions of committing to most of them. This is all fun. It's nothing responsible. You're an irresponsible person, and that.
So in this is the problem with people who just want to be fuck boys or fuck girls, and people who actually engage in the poly lifestyle where they are looking for a long-term relationship. If you just like, I want to get my dick wet, it's like that, and that's gonna hurt people, and you're dating people who like want a serious commitment. Like, dude, like, you are breaking people. And just like dating and being your goal shouldn't be breaking people, or your inevitable conclusion shouldn't be breaking people, or breaking people that's already cracked and broken. Like, that's not a thing that you should do. But again, it's for the thrills, and I'm glad Abba is recognizing this. And this is a serious conversation about, this is a communication of actually what's wrong with the problem with Destiny. So many people's like, oh, he's a gooner, oh, he does that. Like, no, they are not communicating, because most of these people, if they was in his shoes, will do the same thing. A lot of these people who are literally would be given the power to sleep with whoever they want would do the same thing. And that's the crazy part about it. That's the crazy part about it.
Reflects on your character. You know, with this whole situation, I don't think Steven shared this because he thought it was okay to share. I personally believe, this is my theory, that he shared this because he just didn't care and he didn't think that the other person would ever find out. And that to me is almost worse. Because it's...
And like, that's kind of concurrent with my theory. I just think that he was showing off and he was trying to say, look what I can do with all the other good stuff. I don't think, you know, it was a thing of being malicious, like I said before. Prove me wrong. No, I don't mean it like that, but I think it was more of a brag and hoping the other people don't find out than just like, yeah, I got this dirt on this person, because it was just so cavalier about it. He was just so cavalier. But let's go.
Shows that you don't care about the people you slept with and who shared that intimate moment with you and recorded it. And it shows to me that if you are going to be able to avoid the consequences of it, you'll say and do things behind closed doors that are just unbecoming. And if I'm your friend and I see you do that to your other people that you slept with and you call friends, then I can only imagine that even for me, I might not be safe and I can't trust you.
Again, this is a communication of actual concerns of just like, oh, Destiny bad. Like, no, this is like, hey, look, we can't trust you. This is a concern of like, this is actually addressing the situation. And I know a lot of people who are bringing out the story, they don't know how to have social relationships where they talk to people, first on an adult level, and two, don't know how to have communication where they actually communicate to what's actually wrong with the behavior and what's going on.
You know, and it's a shame that this came from a hack, but regardless, what it reveals to me personally is like, I could never afford to trust this person with personal stuff that's really close to me or dear to me. Because if they think they can get away with it, no one else is gonna find out. They might just share that shit. And Steven might watch this and disagree strongly, but the evidence is not in your favor. And I can't rely on what you're gonna say. I'm gonna rely on your past and your history. And what I see is another more failing where it's like, when no one's watching, you're not doing the right thing. You can massage it however you want. It's a shitty thing to share a sex tape, but it's not the worst thing. I'm sorry, that's fucking garbage behavior, okay? It just is. Call it a spade. It's garbage behavior. Don't mush it over because you like your favorite streamer. Don't mush it over because you think he's important politically. It's garbage behavior. And like the reason why he's doing it too, it's so he can pillow talk a fucking 19-year-old. I was like, it's not that hard to bag a teenager.
No. Pause. Stop. Pause.
That sounds crazy. But you know what I mean? It's not. And you shared like it is such a weird form of like, I don't know what the fuck that shit is. And one thing he said, I think he said something like, you know, that was me a couple of years back. I'm on Vyvanse now, which Vyvanse I think is like some kind of drug, ADHD, I don't know. He's like, I'm on Vyvanse now. I'm really just focused on political stuff. I want to stay away from the drama. It's like, I didn't realize they made a, you know, finding God moment for druggies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how some people do a bunch of fuck shit for their whole life, and all of a sudden they go to church once and they're like, I found God. Like it absolves all the bullshit that they've just done. I don't know. It was such a weird way. Like when you're being said that you're...
And like, don't get me wrong. Yes, not like certain mental behaviors can actually have impulse control. Cool. That could be a extenuating factor. But to say like, yeah, ADHD, yeah, get your shit together. Don't just blame, like, and he would be somebody who's like, didn't Destiny criticize a woman for not being mentally prepared for sex? Like, yeah, no, dog, you got some other stuff you need to address.
You're doing a bunch of foul shit and you've hurt a bunch of people, and like mention the fact that you're on Vyvanse and you're a changed person. It's just like, I don't know, something about it just seemed off to me. And it just didn't seem like someone who was really repenting or felt some type of way about what they did. It just felt like, it made me think of Sneeko, you know? Sneeko's doing all this like goofy ass red pill shit, and all of a sudden he finds Allah and everything's just forgiven. All the bad messaging, all the people he insulted, never apologized for none of that. None of that. It's just like, I moved on. It was just weird. To move on to the career stuff, like, listen, man. How do we say this? If you have political aspirations, you just can't behave like this. one of the weirdest things that Steven had was an anti-misogyny arc, right? He felt like there was too much misogyny in his audience and whatever. So he's like, he was trying to shape them up, and he was banning people and banning certain kind of messages. All the while, my guy, you were fucking a bunch of the women that you worked with. You would bring women on stream and then fuck them within a short amount of time. It's like you're reinforcing a lot of the stereotypes that a lot of this misogyny comes from. There's a certain level of hypocrisy there that just makes like the whole thing just seems like such a flam.
So this is where I actually have to disagree. I don't think it was, I need to bring women on so I can have sex with them and stuff like that. And this is where I take issues with like President Sunday, like presenting this. I think that when you work at a bar, you tend to screw people that also work at a bar. I know it's weird. There is a thing. And the fact that this is streaming, the fact that a lot of the people actually, you know, have so much parasocial and social relationships, it's kind of hard to date outside of that. Especially if you're somebody that has a high sex drive and then addicted to, you know, the life and the drama and the stuff like that. So I don't think this is a case of him using his power to, you know, get, you know, sex from people. I think it's a case of using connections to connect around people. And so, yes, are there so many incestual relationships that happen in the streaming community? Of course, yes, and especially with people being terminally online. Yeah. Do I think it's haha, I'm gonna do a Weinstein moment? Like, no. I think a lot of the women have more agency than that. It's just still crappy where like the first thing that, you know, Pixie said was like, people don't think I slept my way to the top, and it's just like, yeah, they're gonna be jerks because, again, a lot of these people don't know what a stable relationship is if it kicked them in the head and tattooed it on a farm. But you know, that's the thing, and I don't see this as a boss, you know, saying, oh, you need to sleep with me. I see this as, you know, the bartender, you know, and the bar back actually just, you know, doing something bareback in a storage room. So yeah, this is one of the things that I disagree with. And you know, a lot of you guys, like I said, a lot of people who have work spaces where you're constantly working with people, there have been some attractions, and like I said, this is more of the people that work together sleep together. And you know, I can't see this as him ruling power over. That's just me. Again, I've worked 20 years of my life in corporate America, and I've seen a lot of shit. So, yeah, let's go.
Flamboyant joke. And personally, like, that's actually one of the big reasons I don't want to be associated with like the platform is I don't like the idea that we're normalizing, you know, someone bringing in a bunch of small content creators that are women, fucking them, right? And then when that fallout inevitably happens, like, just cast them away. Like, it's a really weird dynamic. And I started getting comments from people like, oh, you f***ed this girl in the orbit. And you, meanwhile, I ain't done shit. But because Steven is just so flagrant with how much he's just gooning it up, and he can't keep his dick in his pants, and he just wants to be a hedonist, even me being close to that by proximity, I start to, you know, have that reputation. And it's just, I don't want to be associated with that. You know, I'm happy with the fact that I work with women, and I'm happy with the fact that it's professional. And that needs to be a standard that we set for more people, because I hate the idea that I just show up on screen with a woman and it's automatically sex. But can I really be mad at an audience for thinking that when I hang out with Steven, who literally fucks pretty much everybody he works with? Like, how can I be that mad? Right? So, I don't know. There's a lot about the way that he kind of goes about his work and his personal life that makes it very difficult to want to be close to it. And if you notice, most of the people who are going to choose to stand by him are people who have a lot to lose if they're not with him. I have nothing to gain from being friends with Steven. I've literally had nothing to gain from the moment that we've known each other. Like, don't get me wrong. Steven's done a lot of good things for me personally on the low in terms of behind closed doors and helped me out with certain things. And I'm always going to be appreciative of that. And, you know, in that regard, he's been very stand up for me. And I'm grateful. But professionally, like, outside of that, it's been pretty bad. Like, a lot of people.
So again, this isn't just like, oh, he's bad, he's evil, let's, you know, put him under the jail. This is a responsible way of actually addressing the issue that you have with a friend and an associate of yours. But let's go.
People want to stop working with me. A lot of people want to complain about the fact, and I never cared about any of it. Why? Because I just like Steven. I saw him as a friend, so I was cool with it. I didn't care if people wanted to stop talking to me. I didn't care if fans got mad. I didn't care if people questioned. It didn't bother me at all. But when he engages in like actual behavior that I think is reprehensible, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? This is fucking stupid. And his response is, I like to have fun. I don't care. Then it's just got to be a come point where I'm like, all right, then I just got to cut you off because your definition of fun is fucking toxic. You know, and unfortunately, we live in a world where optics matter. How you carry yourself matters. The things you say, the choice of words, the way you carry in your personal life, the way the drama spills out, it matters. And I don't understand how Steven can really say that he wants to be a serious political advocate if he doesn't want to manage his personal life in any way that's serious. Like, why should the DNC involve you in anything that they want when your personal life looks like a fucking train wreck that's going to be bad PR for all of them? Why should anyone want to spend time debating you on these bigger platforms if all you're going to do is bring fucking tarnishing their reputation, right? It's like, if you're serious about this, you should make this sacrifice. And if you can't, then I don't think you really care about the political positions that you claim to care about. Not that deeply. Can't, because you can't put your dick in your pants. So that's how I feel about this. If y'all want to hear my thoughts, there you have it. Yeah, I don't think I got much else to say. Like I said, I won't be appearing on those streams anymore. None of that collaboration stuff. I hope the best for Steven. I hope he fixes his shit, and I hope he does right by the people he hurt. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, this is incredibly disappointing shit. That's all I got to say.
All right. So this is a adult, respectful, and this is a how do you respond when somebody is addressing like allegations or excuse me, cancellation. And he said that the first thing he did was talk to Steven. Like, you have that conversation with the person that you're friends with and associate with first. You say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to address it. And you act responsible. You don't go and leak a story when somebody said that they may do self-harm. Like, oh, well, because you don't speak up, then it's going to be a problem. Like, no, like, this is a responsible way of addressing the situation. But anyway, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll cut this video segment here.
I want to say thank you to all my Patreon supporters and my Twitch subscribers. Join the Guardians, become a member, or become a subscriber on YouTube, Patreon, and help support the channel. Thank you for watching this video, and the next one should be popping up on your screen. Subscribe, and if you haven't checked it out and want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon. Thanks.
Thank you.